welcome to my first ever WarGamer Girl Halloween special. So happy Halloween to those of you who are watching currently. I'm Miranda. I'm also Gur this year, as you'll notice. And I have hoodwinked my good friends into hanging out with me for an Arkham Horror night. And hopefully you guys will join us for that. With me I have my friend Donald, Dylan, and Flo. And we will see if we can cooperate long enough tonight to close these gates before an Elder God comes out and devours us all. I'm Miranda. Today I'm playing Kate Winthrop, the scientist. She's coming to Arkham after losing her dear professor a few years earlier due to a malfunctioning device that caused an Elder God to come up and devour him. So she was determined at that point to solve this issue of aliens and created a device that is needed to rid the world of these Elder Gods.
Hi, I'm Donald. I'll be playing Harvey Walters today. He's a tenured professor that has started noticing certain strange goings-on correspond to ominous things in his research, and he's decided to go around Arkham and investigate to see if he can find out what's going on.
Hi, I'm Daryl Simmons, the photographer. Born and raised in Arkham, he one day witnessed a terrible badness that he tried to prove and no one believed him. Now he's set out to find out, take pictures and prove it to the world.
Hi, I'm Flo. I'm going to be playing Amanda Sharp. She's a student at Miskatonic University whose brain is being invaded by a creature that was possessed inside of a painting. She's just trying to figure out what's going on and save her own life at this point.
So we pulled the Elder God at random for today's game, and we pulled Hastur, the King in Yellow.
Thanks, Miranda.
So how this affects our game, instead of needing 5 clue tokens to close a gate, we are now going to need 8. Additionally, it looks like cultists become flying monsters, and their combat rating is -2. So we get to roll 2 less dice when fighting them. On the bright side, I happen to have more clues than anyone else as far as my character goes. We seem to be the group of nerds. In fact, what do we got? A student. You're a super old, rickety professor.
He's probably my professor, let's be honest.
I could sneeze and die.
I've got a scientist, and then we've got this photographer dude who is the most physically fit of all of us.
Yeah, doing pretty well. I got a bullwhip and an enchanted knife, so I'll be pretty fighty.
You're so dead.
I love how the fightiest one in the group is a liberal arts major.
Alright, let's get started.
Feds raid Arkham. This is a headline, and all monsters in the streets are returned to the cup, which means nobody this time out. Clue appears at Hibbs Roadhouse. Portal opens at the Black Cave.
Alright.
We need a monster for the portal.
For the portal appearing, we've already...
Zombie sounds pretty amicable.
I'm gonna leave him how he looks right now. And, yeah. I'm using 3 movement points to head over to the unvisited aisle. I'm going to grab a clue token and have an encounter. The willows sway in a wind that you cannot hear or feel, and for a moment, the hatred of these ancient trees for the invader who has come to their island drives you to your knees. Pass a will -2 check or lose 3 sanity. Not feeling like spending any clue tokens on that now, so I just take a hit. I lose 2 sanity because I have an ability that allows me to reduce all sanity loss by 1. And I'm down to 5 sanity.
Alright, old Kate's gonna take her 3 points of movement and head down to the woods. She's gonna pick up that clue token, and we're gonna have ourselves an encounter. You meet an old wise man in the grove who offers to share his wisdom with you. If you accept, Lose your next turn and make a lore -2 check. If you pass, you may draw 1 skill, or draw 2 spells, or gain 4 clue tokens. If you fail, nothing happens. Well, obviously I'm going to accept.
Depending on your lore.
My lore is currently 3. Well, let's see how I do on one die. I need a 5 or 6. Oh! Alright, 4 new clue tokens. I'm gonna be the gate closingest scientist ever.
I am headed to Hibbs Roadhouse. 3. I'm going to take these 2 clue tokens here and have an encounter. Prohibition failed to influence the proprietor of Hibbs. You drink heavily while quizzing the locals about the strange goings-on in Arkham. Make a will -1 check. If you pass, you hold your liquor and learn something. Gain 2 clue tokens. If you fail, you pass out. Move to the street and either have 1 item of your choice or all of your money stolen. 2. I fail. Oh well. I'm gonna lose my $1.
Alright, so Daryl's gonna move from the newspaper down here to Independence Square, pick up his clue token, and due to his ability, he's going to draw 2 encounters and pick the best one. Make a will -1 check. If you pass it, Anna Caslow, the fortune teller, offers her help in your investigation. Take her ally card if it's still available. Otherwise, gain 2 clue tokens. If you fail, nothing happens.
Pass.
Success. They get 2 clue tokens. It says gain 2 clue tokens when Anna Caslow joins you. I got some pretty good luck now.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So, your Mythos, Miranda.
Alright, I have the power of being player 1. And I'm pulling our Mythos card here. Rumor has it, good work undone. When this card enters play, place 6 clue tokens on it. Any player may spend clue tokens during the Arkham encounter phase while in the East Town streets to discard clue tokens from this card on a 1-for-1 basis. Ongoing effect, roll 2 dice at the end of every Mythos phase, beginning on the turn after an interplay. For every 1 or 2 rolled, place a clue token on this card. If there are no clue tokens on this card, return it to the box. Each player draws 1 unique item. Or if you fail, if there are 10 clue tokens on this card, return it to the box. All Elder Sign tokens are removed from the board. So we need to get these clue tokens off. Do you have 6?
I do. On the plus side, we don't have any Elder Sign tokens on the board yet.
Alrighty, so you draw those off and you have to be in the East Town area to do it. The end is a dial. Get sucked into relay.
And delayed. Which means I have to spend an extra turn there.
And got another fireball on the doom track.
Flying cultist. None of our monsters move.
So for the upkeep, I am going to use my focus to increase my speed by 1 this round. And because I run around in heels, that does reduce my sneak ability. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up another clue token, the last one I need to close a gate, and see what card I draw. You find a banquet laid out in the dining room and feel compelled to sit down and eat. Make a luck +0 check and consult the following chart. My luck is 3. One success. You gorge yourself, unable to stop eating. Stay here next turn. Well, I guess I'm not going anywhere next turn.
Alright, we're not going to make any changes to any of the upkeep. Everything's staying the same. My character here is going to spend 3 clue tokens to remove 3 of the clue tokens from the rumor.
Alright, so I have a retainer, so I'm going to gain $2, and I have to roll to see if I can keep it. And I do. I'm going to move Daryl Simmons here down to East Town and pay 3 clue tokens. to remove the remaining 3 clue tokens off the rumor.
A unique item is passed out to everyone.
Pallid mask. +2 to evade checks.
Cultist de Ghouls. A tome. Movement, exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a lore -2 check. If you pass, draw 1 spell and gain 1 clue token, but lose 2 sanity and discard Cultist de Ghouls. If you fail, nothing happens.
Obsidian statue. Any phase, discard obsidian statue to cancel all stamina or sanity loss being dealt to you from one source.
And I, the mighty scientist, have the enchanted blade for +4 to combat checks.
Well, I guess that's the end of that rumor, so no more activity in East Town streets. Turns out fisticuffs aren't the strong suit of the septuagenarian, so I'm going to use my focus to move the fight track all the way down, put all my chips on will, and that's that. Old Man River gets to stand up, which is all he gets to do for movement this turn. And then I have an encounter, so I'm drawing until I get a red or a yellow border card. Lucked out. And there's no relay, so I do other. The humidity and heat is exhausting, lose 1 stamina.
Alright, so I'm stuck at the witch's house, gorging myself until I vomit, and you are still in East Town.
I am.
And then we have someone stuck in a portal. With 2 stamina left. It's going great. What is our mythos?
Mythos for this turn. Environment. Mystic. Planetary alignment. Thanks to the mystic energy generated by the planetary alignment, all spells have a sanity cost of 0.
Sweet!
Clue appears at the Black Cave, but it doesn't because we already have an opening there.
Sucked in automatically.
Alright, what about zombie movement or monster movement?
Gate opens at the witch house, sucking Miranda in.
No.
Well,
You can't have gates open at my location
Oh,
because
fantastic.
I have a flux stabilizer that says no.
Science!
That's right. Science.
If we have any squares or diamonds, as monsters on the board, they move on white. Circles move on black. And that would be it. I am not going to make any changes during upkeep. Amanda Sharp is going to move on over to the graveyard, collect a token, and have an encounter. A monster appears.
A fire vampire.
So before anything, I am going to attempt to cast a magical spell. I pass, which means that all of my combat checks have a +3. So I lose 2 dice from that. I have 4 dice, and I need 2 successes. 3 successes.
Oh, is that the
I
best you
win.
can do?
So I now have a vampire trophy.
Alright, so I'm not going to make any changes during my upkeep, but I do need to maintenance my retainer, so I gain $2 and roll to see if I keep it. And I do not. So my retainer goes away.
Lame.
Alright, so I'm going to take Mr. Darrell here down to the unnameable and take the clue token. I also have to draw an encounter, but due to his ability, I'm going to draw 2 and pick the best one. Alright, so I obviously chose this one. In a dusty indicating roll top desk, you find a mysterious manuscript. If you read it, make a lore -1 check. If you pass, draw 1 spell. If you fail, the manuscript is nothing more but insane babbling of a previous renter. Stay here next turn reading it, but gain 2 clue tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and make the lore -1 check. My lore is 2, so -1 I get 1 dice. And fail. Turns out that mysterious text was nothing more than the insane babblings of a previous renter.
I think I'm gonna bump up my speed in anticipation of using a couple extra speed points next turn. Movement points. And then I'm gonna yeah, magically. So Old Man Winter's gonna be magically delicious here for a minute, and I'm gonna try and cast Find Gate to pop out in Arkham instead of having to deal with another turn in Hell. Alright. One's all I need. Okay, and I've explored the gate, and I pop out at the unvisited isle. Okay, I pay 1 sanity and 1 stamina to use this really strenuous artifact that automatically seals the gate. And since it was an Elder Sign, we get to take a token off the Doom track.
I'm going to move my speed back down to 3 to keep my sneak up. I won't go anywhere because I'm stuck at the witch's house, so I will instead have another encounter. And in my delirium of having eaten so much, I feel the house actually breathe and speak my name, and then lose 1 sanity.
You don't eat from dented cans, Miranda?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright. Our mythos for this turn, Ghost Ship docks by itself. It's the headline. An ancient ghost ship arrives in Arkham, releasing 2 monsters into the Merchant District streets.
We've got Star Spawn and an Elder Thing. Oh my.
Oh, goody.
Fantastic. Alright, a clue appears at the woods.
Hopefully, yeah.
A gate opens at the Unnameable.
That's you.
Fantastic.
At least you don't have to get past that Star Spawn this turn.
Done reading that book, that's for sure.
And you have been sucked to Relay.
Oh, hey, I've been there.
Wait a minute, I thought that got closed.
No, a portal can't open at the Unvisited Isle anymore, but they can keep opening over here.
Oh, never mind.
Hell is hungry. And we get a monster.
Jeez!
Yeah.
Alright, and then what moves?
And then we got the awesome news that Crescents move on white, so that's gonna be our Cultist and our Zombie.
There's nobody in the streets, right?
Crescent Cultist
So
moves to the
Cultist
sky.
goes to the sky.
Since he flies.
Oh, because we've already pulled a monster for that. At this point, we can just go ahead and do our movement, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you like me to move before you so I can take care of the zombie?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, Dylan goes first. He got stuck. Does he have an encounter this time?
He has an encounter, but he doesn't get any movement points.
Alright.
And then where are you?
I'm at the Unvisited Isle.
You are stuck.
There is no... I'm like a little old lady trying to make it past 2 fullbacks. I'm probably just gonna have another encounter at the Unvisited Isle, read from the Necronomicon after all.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay, so for upkeep, this now becomes available to me once again. That will be all I do to my upkeep this time around. Now I'm jumping the gun here. I'm going to make 1 movement to take on this zombie. I only get 1 dice to roll
For the sanity?
for sanity towards will. I need 1 success. I fail that. But I'm going to go ahead and use my whiskey and discard it to negate the sanity loss. I am going to attempt to get my wither spell up and running. And I do. 5 dice. And I've got 4 successes. Since I only needed 1 to win, I beat him, and he becomes my trophy.
Alright, so for my upkeep, I'm not going to change anything here, and since I don't have my retainer anymore, no more extra free money. Currently stuck in Ryla. I am incapacitated, so I'm just going to go ahead and stand up, and I have to draw an encounter card.
What's it say?
The night stars change and the brazen temple doors open, pouring forth a vast black corpulence. Roll a die and lose that much sanity. This could potentially be really, really, really bad.
Oh,
I'm dead.
well, you're insane.
Well, you're lost in time and space.
I'm pretty much dead.
That's not as bad as you think. Alright, you went insane in another world. That means that you lose half your items, you lose half your clue tokens, and you're lost in time and space.
Way to go!
Them's the breaks.
Yeah, fantastic.
Here's the rub, kid. Alright, who's next? Would you like to read from the Necronomicon?
I think I'm gonna do that. We haven't had enough people going insane this game. Alright, I'm blocked in by a couple of giant star spawn from parts unknown, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do some light reading. Necronomicon. I've got a 5 lore, take a -2, so I'm throwing 3. And that's no successes.
What does a failure cause?
Failure costs me nothing.
Oh, well, good.
And then I get to do some exploring on the unvisited isle. Looking up at the night sky from the island, you see constellations that you've never seen before. The entire sky is different here. Lose 1 sanity and gain 1 clue token. Sanity I can spare.
No, you don't lose it.
Oh, roger that, thank you. Thanks to my ability, stargazing doesn't cost me anything at all.
So I'm not going to change any of my stats. I think I'm going to be alright to run headlong into a portal. So 3, 1, 2, 3. And from there I go into the Great Hall of Solano or whatever. And am I knocked down?
No.
No, I just go right in. Green. Solano?
Yeah.
An old professor from Earth teaches you a thing or two. Pass a luck -1 2 check to draw 1 skill. That was an epic failure, but it doesn't cost me anything.
The stars are right. Rumor.
Oh dear.
Ongoing effect, roll a die at the end of every Mythos phase while this card is in play, beginning next turn.
Okay.
On a 1 or a 2, place 1 Doom token on the Ancient One's Doom track.
Fantastic.
Now, if a player discards an ally card while in the downtown streets during the Arkham encounter phase, return this card to the box and each player draws 2 common items. If the Ancient One awakens, return this card to the box.
So that's useful.
Yeah, at least we don't lose anything except for, you know, everything. So, activity in the downtown streets.
Alright, so downtown.
So given that I'm the only one with an ally, I'm probably gonna have to discard her to get rid of this because it's
pretty big.
yeah, it's just too terrible.
Anna Caslow, we hardly knew ye.
Where does the portal open?
Portal opens at the Science Building.
Alright.
Somebody who's really good at using magic needs to fight that guy.
What is that? Crawling one? Oh dear.
Physical resistance or immunity? Physical resistance.
Awesome.
And it has toughness equal to the result of a die roll you make at the start of combat.
Feel that elder god waking from his slumber already. Let's do this.
Huzzah. And monster movement. Slashes, triangles, stars on white.
Alright.
So I think it's worth pointing out at this point that it's going to be really difficult to actually seal all of these gates, needing 8 clue tokens every time. And we don't really have so many elder signs to go around either. So.
We don't have any on the board right now.
Well, and we have 1 sealed gate. We might have to start looking at alternative win methods because I don't see very many clues popping up. In fact, no clues appear from this last rumor either.
Yeah, we've been getting hit hard on the clues. So I guess our 2 other choices, well, 3 choices technically. We can close every gate. We can kill the Ancient One, or we can lie down and accept our fate. I think I'm going to bump lore because I just remembered that I have a book to read. And since I'm stuck in here anyway. Alright, I'm gonna take another page out of the Necronomicon.
Nothing bad can happen.
Never has, never will. Alright, lore is a 6. I'd -2. Shaka, shaka, kaboom. Much better.
Ooh.
So, lose a sanity. And I get to draw a spell. Mists of Relay. Cast an exhaust to pass an evade check in any phase. The casting modifier is equal to the monster's awareness. So basically my magic just turned into my sneak. Unvisited Isle. As you start to climb back into your canoe and row to shore, you see a huge shadowy shape disturb the water near the island. Waves of intense dread grip you, and you must pass a will -1 check or be cursed. And I botched it. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a clue to toss another die. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a clue to toss another die. Next verse, same as the first. Okay, I'll take it.
Oh, whew. Well, it cost you all your clues, but alright.
I can no longer close a third of a gate. Alright.
Hooray!
That's me.
Okay. Alright, Kate is going to keep her stats where they are while we go into the second phase of closing this gate. That one. Your red-eyed reflection in the mirror captures your attention. Stay here next turn. It's twice now. Gorging myself for a turn, and now staring at myself in the mirror for another turn.
Alright, so I am going to keep all of my stats as they are. Forward 2 to the Silver Twilight Lodge, where I am taking a clue and having an encounter. Care to join the order? Carl Sanford and several of his henchmen ask. If you accept, pay $3 and take a Silver Twilight membership. If you decline, pass a will check, -1, or lose 3 stamina as the henchmen assist you out the door. Whether you pass or not, move to the street.
She
I do
lost
not.
her last dollar after being kicked out of Hibbs Roadhouse.
However, I believe what I'm going to do is use my Dragon's Eye to draw a new card in its place. Carl Sanford draws you into the study to talk, and you feel the cold creep of dread listening to him. Make a lore -1 check. If you pass, your willpower stands up to the test of the ancient wizard, and you even learn something of value. Gain 3 clue tokens. If you fail, his hypnotic tones lull you into a trance. The conversation seems short, but when you leave the study, much time has passed, and your thoughts are confused to lose all your clue tokens and move to the street.
Painful thing here is if she gains 3, it would be enough to
I
close the
lost
gate
those,
ordinarily.
but I'm going to go ahead and spend a clue token since there's a chance I could lose all of them anyway. And I pass.
Nice.
So I lose 1 and gain 3. Go ahead and just hand me 2.
Alright, Daryl Simmons is having a bad time here, so he's not going to make any changes to his stats. And all he gets to do this turn is stand up.
Alright, I now have the player 1 token. Let's draw a new Mythos card. Headline: Bizarre dreams plague citizens. All guts and night gaunts in Arkham are returned to the cup. If at least 1 monster returns to the cup, raise the terror level by 1. A clue appears at the Witch House. So, Witch House, yes. Are there guts and night gaunts? I don't think so, right?
Nope.
So we're good there.
But we do have to do a roll for the rumor.
We do, yes. But that's the end of the Mythos phase. So, it says a portal appears at the science building, which is already there.
Monster
Surge.
Surge.
So, dear Kate is going to leave her stats once again, since she enjoys hanging out in this extra dimension so long, and just go ahead and help herself to another encounter. Hark! A lurking monster appears. Oh look, a night gaunt. They look creepy. I'm gonna fight it. Sanity bit. 1 success on my 1 die.
Is that
No problem. Plus 4 because of my combat bonus. Minus 2 from him. So I have 4 dice. Make sense? Yes. Okay. 1 success. Let's try that again. So I'm going to use my marksman ability to re-roll that, hoping for 2 successes so I can kill the dude. Oh, that's even worse. Alright. Well, I failed. And now I get booted out the gate.
Where's it
Into a
booted to?
maniac. Alright, so Amanda went ahead and used her Dragon's Eye last turn. It is no longer exhausted. I can use it again if I need to. And I'm not going to change any of her other stats, but she is going to move a couple of turns here, right over to the Witch House, where she's going to take this clue token and have an encounter. Pass a luck -1 check to find an odd-looking item in an old, dusty display case. Draw one unique item if you pass. And I fail.
Alright, Daryl Simmons, not going to make any changes to my stats. However, he is feeling better after standing up on his feet in space-time. So he's going to pop right out of this space-time portal and head over to the Arkham Asylum. I am then going to spend $2 while I'm here to recover all of my sanity.
Things are getting kind of hairy out there. It looks like you guys could really use a hand. So I'm going to stay here and read a book. Klaatu, Barada. Oh wow, it worked. Dread Curse of Azathoth. Casting modifier -2, sanity cost 2. Cast and exhaust to gain +9 to combat checks until the end of this combat. But it is encounter time. Unvisited Isle. A group of hooded cultists are having a meeting among the standing stones on the island. Pass a sneak -1 check to overhear some of what they have to say. Gain 2 clue tokens, but at least nothing bad can happen. Except failure. That's it. They just kind of send me on my way.
Alright, Mythos for this turn, because I'm playing a 1 now. Okay, Temperance Fever sweeps city. It's a headline.
Okay.
Any investigator with whiskey must pass a sneak -1 check or get arrested and taken to the police station. I already drank my whiskey. If this occurs, they must discard their whiskey. In addition, Hibbs Roadhouse is closed until the end of the next turn.
Oh.
Leave this card in play until then to indicate. We close Hibbs Roadhouse.
Okay.
A clue appears at the Black Cave, only it's not sealed yet.
Oh, okay.
And I get sucked into a portal
At the witch's house?
at the witch's house.
Witch House?
Which house? The witch's house.
The witch.
Which means the Doom track moves up by 1. We have to pull a monster. Pull a monster.
Alright.
Maybe you can reach
I will
monster.
attempt. We have a wonderful maniac.
Oh, another maniac.
Maniacs aren't too bad.
Wait, nope. He doesn't go on the board, he goes straight to the outskirts.
Yep. Alright, since my stats have been pretty balanced this whole time, I'm going to keep them the same still. And I have been sucked into the Plateau of Lang. So I'm going to have an encounter. Plateau of Lang. Your mind and body are toughened by your experiences. Pass a will +0, 2 to pass check to draw 1 skill. 1 success.
Oh.
No changes to Daryl Simmons' stats. However, we are about to say goodbye to my good friend and ally here, Anna Caslow. Say goodbye to Anna.
So, each player draws 2 common items.
A bullwhip. And a 45 automatic.
Alright, so we have food, very generic food, and a cross.
Looks like Harvey's pocketed an axe. Old man with an axe. And a lucky lantern.
Alright, I have gotten an old journal. And a cross.
Leaving my stats right where they are. And I'm diving out into the street. Make room. His awareness modifier is -1. My sneak is a 2. We'll call it a 6. I just snuck my way past the star spawn. Sucker. For the next one, I'm not risking it. He's got a -2, which gives me 0 dice. Mists of Relay. This lets me basically use my lore instead of my sneak for a sneak check. That's all I needed. Arkham, here we come. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss in $2 to get back all of my sanity.
For my stat adjustment, I'm going to move my lore up to a 4. Okay, so it's +1 for the combat. My fight is 2, and I have +4 to combat checks. Okay, so let's see if I can get some success on 7 dice. Ooh, 2 successes. Alright. So, he dies. I guess I keep him as a token, trophy? Yes.
It's a little grisly, but yeah.
Gross. Alright. Now, as my action, I'm going to roll a lore, which is 4. Okay, so -1. Okay, alright, so 3 dice.
Just looking for 1 success, though. Nice.
And I have 2. Alright. So, I spend all 8 to take an elder sign and seal this gate. And I will just keep that little token. Alright, we've got 2 gates closed, guys. That's kind of a big deal. We only have 4 more to go.
They're over there. Alright, so I'm star player this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and draw our Mythos card. Let's hope for something not terrible. Scientist warns of dimensional rift.
I told you guys.
All dimensional shamblers and hounds of Tendalos in Arkham are returned to the cup. If at least one monster returns to the cup, raise the terror level by 1. So good and bad at the same time.
Does that count dimensional shamblers in the outskirts?
No, he's just...
They're not in Arkham, they're on the outskirts.
He's like the Jay and Silent Bob of the...
Do we have
Arkham
any?
crew.
No.
Oh, we don't. Do we have any Tendalos?
No.
Hounds of Tendalos?
Nope.
One jumped out of the cup at you.
Okay, so nothing happens then. Clue appears at the science building.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And hey, look at this. A portal opens at the unvisited isle, but it doesn't because we sealed it.
That's right.
And looks like hexagons are going to move on white.
No hexagons.
And slashes, stars, and triangles are going to move on black.
Oh, we had no monster movement this whole game.
They're all just really lazy.
Okay.
Lucky us.
I think we killed the only triangle, didn't we?
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
Either way, a very uneventful card, so no news is good news, I guess.
By the way, the gate that you closed, what shape was it?
It's a star.
Star.
We don't
Okay.
have anything to take off the board, unfortunately.
None in the outskirts?
No.
Yep. Alrighty then. So our plan, I guess, is just to continue collecting clues. Does anybody want to try and fight our lovely monsters in the Merchant District, perchance?
I'm feeling kind of brave, so I might give it a shot.
Alright, see who can die this turn.
You know, it's also possible that as long as I can make the sanity check, I could probably blast one of those guys square off the map with Dread Curse of Azathoth while his spells are still free to cast.
Oh yeah, I guess that's still an environment. Alright, let's see what happens.
There is no way I'm fighting those monsters, so what we're going to do is we're going to increase my movement speed to 5 and run for it. Alright, Mr. Darrell, you're going to move from downtown all the way to
The Historical Society.
Historical Society and take that clue token, and we're going to go ahead and do an encounter.
Okay.
Alright, so no creepy wizard band for me. Gonna go with this. The society members are birdwatching in the woods. The janitor offers you a ride there. If you accept, move to the woods and draw 2 cards, encountering 1 card of your choice and discarding the other. I'm going to accept moving over there to the woods. No gates with monsters. No gang members. We're gonna go with a rusty lockbox. You trip over an object what turns out to be a rusty lockbox. If you open it, make a luck +0 check and consult the following chart. Alright, I have 1 success and draw 1 common item.
The upshot is it's not a severed human foot.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I guess it's up to the whippersnappers to show the young this guy how it's done. I'm bumping sneak down to 1 because I'm not entirely suicidal. I'm gonna head south 2 spaces, and I'm going to take on some great old ones. Well, some medium old ones. Alright, so I just straight up failed this will check since he would negate all 3 of my dice. My special ability reduces the sanity loss to 1 though, which is pretty okay. Dread Curse of Azathoth, which gives me a +9 to my combat checks. But let's see if I can actually succeed in casting it. It's free to cast right now because we still have our Mystic Environment in play. That is enough to cast. So I get a +9 to this combat check. It's fight +9. There are 2 successes in there somewhere. Exactly 2 successes. Whatever, I'll take it. So
Sweet.
the Elder Thing is mine. Yeah, I can't take him without that spell, so I'm gonna cast Mists of Relay. Alright, he doesn't see me.
Kate is going to make another adjustment, increasing her lure to 5. She's then going to move out of the Black Cave. 1 movement, 2 movement to the graveyard. She's then, for 1 more movement, going to use the old journal. Exhaust and spend 1 movement point to make a lure -1 check. So my lure is 5, -1 is 4 dice. If I pass, I gain 3 clue tokens. I have 1 pass, which is all I need. So 3 clue tokens for me, please. And discard the old journal. Additionally, I shall take an encounter out the graveyard. Descending into a dark mausoleum, you discover a vampire rising to feed. You quickly find yourself fighting for your life. Make a combat -2 check. If you pass, you defeat the vampire, gaining 1 clue token and drawing 1 unique item. If you fail, roll a die and lose that much stamina. So we're deciding, since it is a vampire and they're undead, I'm also getting +3 to my combat check since the opponent is undead. So I'm getting an additional 3 die. So where I would be rolling 9 dice, I'm rolling 7. And I need to pass once. Sweet. Alright, I will gain 1 clue token and draw a unique item. Bam. And a unique item. I get the Lamp of Al-Hazred. Another +5 to combat checks.
Okie dokie. So, once again, I am not going to move any of my stats because I roll that way. I am going to move forward in the Plateau of Lang and have my second encounter. Carefully, you avoid the gaze of a gigantic eye watching an altar. You may try to pass a sneak -1 check to steal a scroll from the dais. Draw 1 spell. If you fail, you are racked by pain and lose 3 sanity. Okay, looking for 1 success with 1 dice. And I pass!
Ha! It's great.
I get 1 spell. Find gate.
Okay, so Mythos. What do we got? Campus security increased. That can't be a bad thing. Headline: all monsters in the Miskatonic University streets or locations are returned to the Cup. We'll take what we can get. So, he goes back. Portal opens at Independence Square. Clue appears at the Unnameable, or it would if it wasn't swarming with monsters and portals.
Okay. And then a monster appears also at Independence Square.
Track moves up by 1.
Alright. What knows?
Looks like we might actually have some action on the board this time. Circles, squares, and diamonds.
And it's a very unfortunate monster that we've plucked.
Ooh.
A doe?
I'm sure we'll find out.
I think I'm gonna leave everything right where it is. And first on deck is the Migo. Sanity check. 3 for will, -1 for the Migo.
Okay.
I guess I lose a sanity. I'm gonna go ahead and get some revenge for that. Swing wildly at him with an axe. It's +3 for my axe. And he's got a 0 combat modifier. So I knock him out of the sky, and I get a unique item. Holy Water. It's basically a magical grenade, +6 to combat checks, discard after use. Next, I lose all 3 of my will dice, so I can't roll the will check. But I am going to make a casting check to cast Dread Curse of Azathoth. 6 lore -2, so I'm tossing 4 dice. And that is a resounding failure. Oops. Failed with the Holy Water, so he's going to hit me back now, which means I'm going to have to sack my Obsidian statue, discard it to cancel all stamina or sanity loss being dealt from one source. So,
Discarded.
I'm just going to cast Mists of Relay. I'm going to have to take another pass at him next turn. So, cast and exhaust to pass an evade check. And toughness equals the monster's awareness. So that's 5 dice for me. And I get to just kind of
Pretend that whole combat action never happened. Kate moves her focus back 1 to increase her luck. She is going to stay where she is and use her movement to use this ancient tablet. So that'll cost her 3 movement, which she has. She's going to roll 2 dice. For every failure, I gain 2 clue tokens, which I want. I want 2 failures. So woohoo, 4 clue tokens for me.
best failure yet.
Best failure ever. I will also go ahead and take a encounter. Testifying, Cooter Falwell latches onto you and rambles on about his spiritual beliefs. Make a lore -1 check. If you pass, then somewhere in Cooter's words, you find a clue to the Mythos threat. Gain 1 clue token, but lose 1 sanity. If you fail, move to the street while you listen to Cooter ramble on about pure nonsense. Alright, so lore -1, I've got lore 4, -1 is 3 dice. See if I pass. Oh, alright. Get another clue token, please. So it costs me a sanity.
Fair trade at this point.
Alright.
Not making any changes once again. Really all I can do this time is pop out of the Plateau of Lang, and I'm just going to sit there this turn. Not going to close the portal quite yet. I don't have enough clue tokens to seal it. But we're there.
Okay, no changes to Daryl Simmons' stats and no upkeep. He's just gonna sit right there and collect his clue token, as well as draw an encounter. Okay, so we're definitely gonna avoid the Sheldon gang again. You come across a cringing dog. Pass a speed -2 check to catch him and calm him. If you have food, you can discard that to automatically pass the check instead of rolling. You see by his collar that he is named Duke. Take his ally card. So we are going to discard the food and gain Duke. So I get +1 to my maximum sanity.
New Mythos card for our plan. Oh, it's a new environment. Alrighty, a strange plague, environment mystic. Investigators cannot gain stamina except by receiving medical care in St. Mary's Hospital or from Vincent Lee. And a clue appears at the unnameable, which it does not because there is still a portal open there. Furthermore, a portal opens at Independence Square, which causes a monster surge. Alright! And then things move. Squares, diamonds, and circles.
So, for the first time, I'm actually going to move my stats just a little bit, so that way I have a little bit more will, and I'm going to take on Amigo, so that way Miranda can make her way into that portal without having to sneak past it. It gives me a -1 to my will check, which gives me 2 dice to work with. I only need 1 pass. And I make it. Now I'm going to go ahead and fight it. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my 2 weapons here, which is going to give me a +5 on top of my 2. I only need 1 pass. and I got it several times over. Which means I actually destroy this Migo and I get a unique item. Kabbalah of Sabath. I can exhaust it, so I can make a lore -2 check, and it will allow me to draw a skill if I manage to pass it.
So I guess Kate will keep her stats where they are. She is going to move from the graveyard to the witch house.
And while you're at the witch house, we're gonna go ahead and trade the Find Gate card.
Can I disappear to where? Plateau of Open?
Plateau of Opening.
I must endure an encounter there. The loathsome villagers send out their strongest warrior to fight you in unarmed combat. Pass a fight -1 to success check to defeat him and draw 1 unique item and gain 1 clue token. Otherwise lose 1 sanity and 2 stamina. Alright, so fight -1, so that gives me 1 die, and I'm going to spend a clue token to gain another die and hope that both of them are successful. Oh, that's terrible. Alright, so that's down 1 sanity and 2 stamina. Can I get 1 heart, please?
Daryl Simmons is going to go ahead and change his stats down since he doesn't need quite as much speed. He's going to move over from the woods and take a chance inside of the portal. You're going to fight this bad guy here, a warlock. First I'm going to do a will check, so he's got a -1 modifier. I'll take 1 off because my will is 2, or my will is 3. I succeed. Then I'm going to go ahead and make an attack against him. Since he has magical immunity, I can't use my enchanted knife, so I'm going to go ahead and use my bullwhip, and yeah, that's pretty much it. My fight is 3, plus the 1 for the bullwhip, -3, so I only get to roll 1. Which he has 2 hit points.
You've also got your +1 fight from your skill.
True, so I do get to roll 2 dice. Okay. And I failed, but I'm going to go ahead and tap my bullwhip to re-roll 1 die to make another combat check. So we're going to re-roll this 4. And I succeed.
Oh!
Warlock is dead.
Keep that for that.
And I pass the combat check, so I gain 2 clue tokens. And this gets returned to the box. And draw an encounter. Other, pass a speed -1 check to grab the carving before it falls. Draw 1 spell. Speed is 4, -1, 3 dice.
Okay.
I pass. Shriveling. Cast to exhaust and gain +6 to combat checks until the end of this combat.
Yeah, it looks like taking this guy out is going to be literally impossible, so I'm going to leave my stats right where they are. Cast Mists of the casting modifiers has awareness, which is a -1, and I've got 5 dice to evade him, which I desperately need to do. That'll do.
You do quite well.
I ditch this fool's errand and gotta go fast. Right down to St. Mary's Hospital, where I pretty much take myself down to my last dime and get all my health back.
Alright, I am the first player this turn, so our Mythos is a headline. Gangs clean up East Town. All monsters in the East Town streets or locations are returned to the cup. Do we have anyone in the East Town? We do not.
No.
A clue appears at the Black Cave.
Awesome.
We have a monster surge.
So,
They were trying to open up a gate at the witch house. Does not work.
Nothing happens to the
Circles
Doom Tribe.
move on white, which means our Migo goes to the sky. This guy moves to East Town. Too bad he wasn't there last turn. Any other circles?
No.
Squares and diamonds move on black. Any squares or diamonds?
all been accounted for.
Nope. Okay, that is the end of our Mythos phase.
Alright, Kate's gonna up her lore again. Hope she can cast some spells, you know, scientifically and all. While she's in this dimension, she's going to cast Find Gate in order to accelerate herself out of this madhouse. It's going to cost her 1 sanity, and she's at a lore of 5, so that would be 5 dice minus 1 due to the casting modifier. And I just need 1 success. Oh, please succeed. Yes, I succeed, and I pop out of the portal to the witch's house. Now I make another lore check, minus 1, to try and close this gate. And I fail.
So I'm going to go ahead and keep all of my stats as is. I know I moved them last time. I figure that's good enough. And I'm going to move Amanda over to the Black Cave for a clue token. And I'm going to go ahead and have an encounter there. A monster appears. However, I'm going to exhaust this and lose 1 sanity to go ahead and draw a new card. You are attacked by a shadowy being, but a large man leaps out of the darkness and drives it off. He introduces himself as Tom Mountain Murphy. Make a luck minus 2 check, or discard a whiskey card to pass it automatically. If you pass, he joins your investigation. Take his ally card if it's available, otherwise he gives you something to protect yourself with. Search the common item deck and take the first weapon you find. If you fail, nothing happens. Well, there's nothing I can do for that, so I'm going to just go ahead and not take that chance.
Bye, Tom.
Alright, so Daryl Simmons is not moving any of his stats, and he's gonna take a leap to the other side of another dimension and draw an encounter. A glimmer of gold catches your eye. Gain $2.
The book learnings have been giving me mixed results lately, so I'm going to bump my luck by 1. Hopefully get a little street smarts in the mix instead. And I think I'm just going to spend this turn window shopping at the magic shop. So, encounter. Ye old magic shop. Looking into a glass ball, you receive a vision of things to come. Turn the top card of one location deck of your choice face up. The next investigator to have an encounter at that location draws that encounter card. The next person to have an encounter at the green is going to be getting this one. Looks like the unnameable would yield up an ally, Eric Colt.
Alright, so let's draw our Mythos card for this turn. Picnickers Panic. A headline. A careless picnicker unleashes 2 monsters on the downtown streets. And I think that we are... Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at monster limit, so those are immediately going to go into the outskirts.
Okay.
I'm not crying over it.
Clue does not appear at the science building because we currently have a portal open there. A portal does not open in the Unvisited Isle, thankfully, because we got that closed and elder sign very early.
You're welcome.
Crescents move on white. I know we have some crescents.
For once.
Do we have anybody in the streets?
And...
we don't. All the cultists go to the sky.
Okay. How full can the sky get?
I think the sky is bottomless.
Oh.
is there any of those that would move?
Yeah, there was a cultist there earlier.
Yeah,
But there is no one.
There's
else.
nobody in the
They don't have
streets,
anybody to
okay.
swoop down on except for other monsters.
And we got pluses moving on black.
So, somebody play me some Baby Elephant Walk.
Miskatonic.
It's the Star Spawn 2.
And that's going to be the end of the Mythos.
It's lighthearted music while it's eating people.
Alright, so let's see if I can close the portal. You are gonna pop out and leave, tragically, needing 1 more clue token.
And unfortunately, $2 doesn't make up for the last loss of that clue token.
Not at all.
Daryl Simmons, in preparation for closing the gate, is going to use his 2 focus to move this up on the track twice, give himself some good fight. He's going to go ahead and pop out of the dimension over to the science building and take his 5 fight, the +0 modifier, plus my 1 skill of 6, so 6 total dice to roll a success to close it. And we closed it.
Okay, so call it a day on that one.
Woo!
I'm thinking of closing a few more of the gates. I can't seal, but we gotta keep these numbers down, so I'm bumping my speed up. And I'm gonna try to cast Mists of Relay to charge past the Star Spawn and get to the portal at the Unnameable. I can seal that up this turn, this next few turns. 5 lore, -1
So it's 4 lore? 4 dice?
Yeah, 4 lore. That's a cast though, so I sneak past him and I get sucked into a portal. Really, the city is filled with unnerving alien angles. Pass a speed -1 check to avoid touching them or lose 1 sanity. 3 to throw for this. Okay, I live to sneak another day.
So I'm going to keep my stats where they are because I'm going to try and close this gate again. I have 5 dice -1 for that particular gate. So
Come on, Miranda, do your job.
Serious?
All right. Proficiently as ever.
That'll do.
I spend my 8 clue tokens to trade it in for an elder sign and seal that gate.
Alright, so this turn I'm going to go ahead and move one of my sliders again. I'm going to bump up my speed. And then I'm going to go ahead and cast the Kabbalah of Sabaoth. I'm at least going to try by exhausting 2 of those movements and making a lore -2 check. It only leaves me with 1, but I think we can do it. And I pass. This means I get to draw a skill, and as part of Amanda's special ability, I actually get to draw 2 and pick the one I want. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the luck. Alright, I'm going to use my last 2 movement to go ahead and move over to the graveyard in hopes of getting a clue. I will have my encounter there. Pass a luck -2 check to find a valuable clue within the tombstone rubbings. Gain 2 clue tokens and you may move to any location or street area in Arkham. If you move to a location, immediately have an encounter there. Well, it's a good thing I just got that luck because I didn't have anything to use before. And I pass again. That means I go ahead and get 2 clue tokens, which puts me all the way up to 8, so I can actually close a portal now. So it lets me jump wherever I want, so I'm going to go ahead and make a jump over here to Independence Square and go right through that portal over to Yuga and have my first encounter in hopes of closing that portal. The creature's grip is like steel. Pass a fight -2 check to break free and escape. If you fail, the creature's grip tightens with a sickening pop. You are lost in time and space. Alright, that sucks. I am refusing to get lost in time and space, and I don't have enough fight, so I'm going to go ahead and use Dragon's Eye and lose 1 sanity so that I can go ahead and draw a new card. Alright, pass a fight -2 check to lever back the lid of the stone chest. Inside you find $8. If you fail, lose 1 stamina. That's much better than being lost in time and space. I will go ahead and lose that 1 stamina happily.
We can close these 2 gates without a new one opening. We technically win this. Technically win this. So, Donald, it's on you.
No pressure though.
And that's my me being as graceful as ever.
A monster appears. Alright. Mythos. Blood magic. Mystic environment. Investigators who end their movement in Rivertown streets may choose to delve into dark mysteries using their life force. They roll dice equal to their current stamina, and for every failed die, they lose 1 stamina. If this reduces them to 0, they are devoured, and the player must start a new character. Otherwise, they gain 3 clue tokens. It's almost a bargain worth making at this point. Activity in the Rivertown streets. Clue appears at the unnameable.
No.
Nope. Portal monster surge from Independence Square.
That's pretty preferable rather than a new portal opening, considering how
True.
close we are to winning.
This is
So,
true.
We lose an ally.
And
Yeah.
it was a random.
Professor Armitage, we hardly knew you. This is a dangerous town for professors. No tenure
You're all
here.
these educated people, and the photographer come by.
We do get rid of that strange plague. Alright, it turns out reading is fundamental after all, so I'm gonna bump my lore. And hopefully I'm gonna be able to cast a spell and get out of this pit this turn. Let's see. Find gate. Casting modifier is a -1, so I'm throwing 6 lore -1, 5 dice. Sanity cost is a 1, so I burn that off. And One success gets me home. One success got me home. Okay, and he pops out of the portal at the unnameable. Shh. Okay.
2 successes, alright.
So,
The gate closes.
and I think I'm just gonna sit here and rest a while. Lean on my cane.
Alright, so Kate's gonna move her speed up to 4. And then she's gonna move from the witch's house, make her way to the hospital. So 1, 2, 3, 4. She's gonna spend $2 to restore her stamina to full.
Alright, for upkeep, my Dragon's Eye becomes available again. And I'm going to go ahead and move my speed back down to 3. I don't really need that high speed anymore. And I'm probably going to need the sneak, knowing the portals. Then go ahead and move over and you go. And have another encounter. Time and space bend around you. Make a luck -1 check. If you pass, return to Arkham. If you fail, stay here next turn. That gives me 2 dice to work with.
Oh, you realize how incredibly dangerous it is?
So we have an explored token on top of our portal. And we go ahead and move on top of that.
Daryl Simmons has no upkeep and he's not going to move any of his stats. However, you did hear a rumor that the science department might be interested in my dimensional fragment. So we're going to go ahead and trade this in to get 2 clue tokens.
There is 1 gate open right now.
We're down to the wire.
Alright.
Come on, Flo.
Come on, Mythos.
Yeah. Well, the monsters are gonna be nice, right?
Oh yeah, no
Well,
problem.
now that you said
no
that.
worries whatsoever. Mythos is a headline. 4th of July parade. Investigators cannot move into or out of the Merchant District streets until the end of the next turn. Leave this card in play until then to indicate this. So close the Merchant District streets, and a clue appears at the Black Cave.
An actual clue. My god.
A portal would open at the Witch House, but someone sealed that up for you, so we're good. And then crescents move. Thankfully, no one's in the streets. And crosses move, but there are none. So there is actually no movement this round. All right.
Lousy parade trapped me in the unnameable.
You are trapped. So, all right, let's start with Flo and see how we do with that gate closure.
Alright. So, if I manage to pass this roll, it means we win, and we no longer have to put up with the insanity of having a 4th of July parade on Halloween, because that's just strange as all hell. And before I do anything, I'm going to bump my lore all the way up to 4. And if we flip that sucker over and see what his stats are. Alright, so we're going to make our will check, our horror check first. And it's -1 to my 3. And I pass with a 6. And I'm going to go ahead and, for the hell of it, try to cast my magical spell here. I have a lore of 4. There's no casting modifier. And I pass, which means I get a +3 to my combat check. And I'm going to go ahead and use my physical weapon as well, which gives me an additional +4. So that's going to be 7 plus my fight, which is 2. I have 9 dice. -2 others. 7 dice to get 2 successes. 1, 2. Exactly 2 successes. Alright, so I have 2 more monster toughness. And now we roll to close the gate, which is a -2 to my dice roll. I need 1 success.
If you lose, you're out of the family.
And here we go. 2 successes.
All right, and that is an elder sign on that seal, just to perma-close that, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 elder signs. But more importantly, there are no gates open at current. I've got 2 gate trophies. You've got 2 gate trophies. You've got 1, which is more than the number of players. So I think we have just beat Arkham Horror.
We did it.
In your face, Hastur.
Hastur.
Surprisingly, we did not die.
None of us died, and I mean, I'm just gonna say it, Kate, you know, she held up like a champ.
We did have some hiccups, like me getting lost in time and space.
That happened
And
later.
you continuously getting stuck places. To gorge yourself, to look at yourself in the mirror,
That was just out of guilt, I think.
because you couldn't actually close the gate one time.
Yeah, no, there was plenty of delays in that. And I was, honestly, I wished we had fought Hastur. I was really hoping that the Doom track would move along, but it never got higher than 5.
I think if we had to, we were all pretty prepared to fight Hastur. I mean,
We're gonna try.
I had some fighty weapons. I had my trusty ally Duke that I was gonna happily throw at Hastur if needed to regain sanity if needed. Because
We already have to fight one monster, we don't need one more.
I don't know how sacrificing your dog restores any sanity, but alright, whatever.
He goes to a farm, and you're happy for him.
Yeah.
The logic of that is dubious at best. Alright, well, I don't know. We never even fought, like, the cultists or anything that Hastur, like...
We didn't fight the
focuses
cultists, but
to.
we did take on a few baddies while we were here. You
Yeah,
know?
I would say MVP, old man Walters here.
Yeah,
that's
with only 3 health, taking on like the strongest monsters.
Yeah.
All he did was like swing his cane at things, and, like read in
He
other people's.
exploded magic at things.
Yeah, I don't even know if he
fine,
knew
it's fine,
anything
it's-
was going on. He was just like.
And me with my enchanted blade and cross, the scientist, was able to fight.
Scientist.
No, scientist with an exclamation point. I'm just gonna say, you know, religion and science worked really well here together. But yeah, no, I love this character. I don't know about you.
I like to think that with the 45 automatic, she just kind of put magical bullets, and that's how she shot Wither at people. Like, combine the 2 together, yeah. You're all dead.
Did I at any point actually encounter a monster that I was able to take photos of? I think I ran away from every
a
fight.
bunch of them.
You mean when you came to Arkham to prove that there were monsters? Yeah, I think you just ran away a lot.
It was terrifying. So
Well, you certainly got a lot of play out of the fact that you were the most fit out of all of us.
yeah, absolutely. I'm the most fighty, just so that's out there.
Most flighty.
I was gonna say, our 70-year-old man was kicking butt.
That's because he couldn't go anywhere, though. He was like, and I either fight or die.
No, he just got sick of those monsters being on his lawn.
He was waving his cane.
To be fair, it was equal parts reading his Necronomicon, equal parts fighting monsters, so...
You did spend an unreasonable amount of time in the Unvisited Isle.
And then to add insult to injury, at the end of the game, I ended up just trapped in the Unnameable again.
That's true.
like-
We kept pulling cards that did nothing but delay us. This is a really passive-aggressive version of Arkham Horror. The first time I played this game with you guys, like, we pulled every horrible card that just instantly devoured players.
To be fair,
and-
we had other expansions added to it, so we were breaking seals, we were having multiple gates open at once, we were having all of the monsters that we absolutely did not want to fight show up.
That monster track was moving a lot faster, too, and our Doom track was, like...
We lost in like 3 rounds.
Yeah, that would have been a more interesting game, but I don't know. Hopefully this was pretty fun. It was interesting, I was surprised how kind the game was to us.
Well, I mean...
It's because it had a
grindy
student
kind of
professor.
thing.
It was like, yeah, that'd be nice.
How about this turn you spend, I don't know, staring into a mirror? I don't know.
It was just
I
kind of
just
like...
decided you were too attractive to actually play horror.
Oh, that must be it, especially after eating like 14 pounds of food at the witch's house. Well, anyway, thank you guys for coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed our Halloween special, and hopefully you had a good Halloween. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Say bye.
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 Happy Halloween!